This could very well be the last intermittent fasting video you'll ever need to watch because I'm gonna give away all the secrets. Today, I'm gonna show you the best intermittent fasting schedule for weight loss. And as a bonus, you also get to improve your overall health and longevity. And make sure to stick around until the end because I'm gonna give you an advanced strategy that a lot of the fasting police out there hate, but hey, it works. These are the exact same tips that I give to all my students, and they've all gone to see some amazing results. So you know it works. Before we get started, don't forget to give this video a like, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell to get notified every time I post a new video every week. It really helps support my channel. All right, let's get into it. As with a lot of things in life, there are levels. The best intermittent fasting schedule is different for everyone. Shocking, I know. It's different because we all live vastly different and intricate lives. For starters, it depends what's currently going on in your life. One of the biggest takeaways I've learned over the last 9 years of doing this is it's not the same every day. It doesn't have to be, nor should it be. For example, I spent a week in Vegas recently, and one of the rules that I follow is I fast when I'm in transit. That's actually how you beat jet lag. You should try it. It actually works. Also, depending on what airport you're flying out of and what time your flight is, it's usually hard to find a decent meal at the terminal, or it's ridiculously priced. And don't get me started on airplane food. So on my way to Vegas, when I was in transit, I just did a 24-hour fast. No problem. On my flight back to Mexico, my airline called an audible on me, so thanks, JetBlue. I had to take a red-eye flight, which obviously just wrecked my sleep. My flight ended up leaving at midnight. It was a 4-hour flight to Florida for my layover, and then I landed in Mexico at 9 a.m. local time. Needless to say, I felt like hot garbage. I might as well have been cast as a zombie for The Walking Dead. So that specific day was not the time to fast because I already had enough circadian stress. A single night of bad sleep can wreck your body. That's why I'm so obsessed with rest and recovery these days. So the daily question you should be really asking yourself is, what's the right fasting schedule for me today? And have the flexibility to do things differently if things aren't going according to plan. On the days when you don't have it, like my red-eye flight, for example, it's okay to dial things back. On the days when you do have it, and this should be most days, if you do things properly and pair intermittent fasting with the right diet and other supportive lifestyle choices, you're feeling good and you're in the zone. And we've all been there before. Maybe you're working on a home renovation project and you're in the flow. Time just flies. You're not hungry and you simply forget to eat. Maybe that day, intentionally or unintentionally, you end up doing OMAD or one meal a day. And for the most part, a lot of people have a set schedule. You have a routine, especially if you follow a Monday to Friday work week. Maybe on weekdays, you do a 16-hour fast because that's what works really well for you. In my opinion, a 16-hour fast is the minimum effective dose of intermittent fasting. It's where you start to get access to all of its amazing benefits, like improved blood glucose control and insulin sensitivity, increased energy, it boosts your brain, it builds the immune system, it turns on autophagy, which is a cleanse on a cellular level, it heals the gut, you get a boost in growth hormones, which is the real fountain of youth because of its anti-aging effects, and so much more. There isn't a single supplement on the planet that can match the benefits of intermittent fasting. That's why I always say that if the benefits of intermittent fasting could be put in a pill, it would be the single greatest blockbuster medication of all time, right next to exercise. And guess what? You actually can get both for free. If some poor, misinformed soul tells you that taking a break from eating is bad for you, you should face the other way and run like you stole something. If you somehow paid them, you should ask for your money back. In a perfect world, you should have your daily eating window from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. or somewhere close to that to align with your natural circadian clock. Because we evolved as human beings to eat when the sun is up, then we stop eating when it's dark because we can't see. That's why late night snacking is one of the worst things you can do. So basically, do your best to have an early dinner. But again, there are levels because there's now new research that shows that a daily 18-hour fast might be the best intermittent fasting schedule for weight loss, optimal health, and longevity. Again, 16 hours was the minimum effective dose, but the sweet spot is actually 18 hours. But hey, don't just take it from me, because researchers from San Diego are now touting a diet that involves fasting for 18 hours each day as a way to stop getting overweight and reduces the chances of contracting everything from cancer to diabetes and heart disease. A study of past animal and human studies published in the New England Journal of Medicine called Effects of Intermittent Fasting on Health, Aging, and Disease says that the diet effectively hacks the human metabolism. According to the study, evidence is accumulating that eating in a 6-hour period and fasting for 18 hours can trigger a metabolic switch from glucose-based to ketone-based energy with increased stress resistance, increased longevity, and a decreased incidence of diseases. That's exactly the intermittent fasting schedule I follow these days. I break my fast at 1:30 in the afternoon and then I'm done eating at 7:30 at night. But again, it's not set in stone. Let's say you're working towards a 16 or 18-hour fast, but if for some reason you just don't have it that day, you need to be nice to yourself and realize that if it's not working, it's okay if you just end up fasting for 12 hours, let's say, which is the bare minimum fast that does anything. You get a growth hormone response benefit when you do a 12-hour fast. You can always try again the next day. A lot of people have the right intention by doing intermittent fasting, but they often combine it with the no pain, no gain mentality, oftentimes disregarding other stressors in their life, and that is a big mistake. For example, you shouldn't push the fast if your sleep was trashed the night before, or you did a crazy hard workout and you're not fully recovered, you're mentally and or emotionally exhausted, or a combination of all those things. If that's the case and you're just not feeling it, don't force yourself to keep fasting. Feel free to have a nice and nutritious breakfast. Break your fast early and try again the next day. Have some bacon, eggs, and some avocado instead of having this no pain, no gain mentality. You shouldn't feel like you're suffering when you fast. You get no bonus points for suffering. Intermittent fasting is unbelievably good for you, like I mentioned earlier, but things will start to go sideways if you don't listen to your body. Fasting is like exercise. You don't want to overdo it. You want to get the right dose. And again, it's different every day. A common mistake that a lot of people make is thinking that if something is good for you, then more might be better, especially if you're a type A personality. It's that all too common fasting trap. A 24-hour fast, or OMAD, is one of the most powerful ways of fasting. You literally can't go any longer if we're talking about a 24-hour cycle. But very few people would benefit from doing OMAD indefinitely. More isn't always better. Just like with a lot of things, the truth is usually somewhere in between. Once or twice a week? Sure. Think about it this way. A lot of things in life exist in a bell-shaped response curve. What that means is if you do a little, nothing happens. You do a little more and you get some benefits. Then you hit that sweet spot and you get tons of benefits. But if you do too much, the benefits starts to go down. I did OMAD every day for a year and that's exactly what happened. I was over fasting. Again, fasting is like exercise. It's a stressor in the body. It's a good type of stress. It's the what doesn't kill you makes you stronger type of stress. Unless you already have enough stress in your life. For example, if your partner unexpectedly broke up with you last night and you have to deliver a presentation at work, maybe a 24-hour fast today is not the most optimal thing to do. At the same time, eating your feelings away is not the right thing to do either. Again, the truth is usually somewhere in between. There's even new studies now that shows that for women, the minimum effective dose is just 3 days a week of intermittent fasting. You can do more, obviously, but just 3 days is enough to get you benefits. And here's the kicker. I would have never given you this advice before when I used to be a purist, but hey, I'm always learning. Feel free to have breakfast Saturday or Sunday. I mean, don't go to a breakfast buffet and drink maple syrup out of the container and drink mimosas like it's going out of style. But again, if you want to have some eggs, bacon, avocado, and maybe even some gluten-free pancakes, that's totally fine. Because once you've built up the metabolic machinery, meaning you're metabolically flexible, your body should be able to handle it no problem. You should check out this video if you want to know more about metabolic flexibility. But from an evolutionary perspective, you want to give the signal to your body that there's always food available. You don't eat all the time, obviously, but you always have access to food. On the other hand, if you push the fast too much and too often, you're now giving your body the environmental signal that you might be going through a state of famine. The byproduct is your body adjusts in a way that's not good for you. That's why I mentioned earlier that very few people will benefit from doing OMAD long term. Again, going back to the fasting trap thinking that more is always better. If you're always rigid with your fasting schedule and you just power through, even though you're going through a stressful time, your sleep quality eventually starts to suffer. For women, their menstrual cycle becomes irregular. For guys, your libido might go down. It's because you're fasting too much. Your body thinks that it's always in a stressful fight or flight environment all the time. You always have elevated cortisol levels, which is your stress hormone. The body then starts shutting down and starts to prioritize more important functions because you're not eating enough and you're stressed out of your mind. The byproduct is thinning of hair because your body starts to break down protein. This is why it's so important to prioritize protein in your diet. High quality protein, that is, from animal products. The key, I'd say, is do a 16 or 18-hour fast most days. Again, ideally, you have an eating window of 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. to align with your circadian clock. But for a majority of people, myself included, skipping breakfast and having a 12 to 8 or 12 to 6 p.m. eating window works best, especially if you have an active social life. And then once a week, maybe you're just eating one meal a day. Saturday or Sunday, you're eating breakfast with your family. Change it up. Again, that's how it was back then. Sometimes our Paleolithic ancestors would go a full day or days without eating, and they were forced to live off of their stored energy, also known as body fat. I mean, that's what it's there for. It's not just there for looks. More importantly, don't box yourself in a rigid fasting schedule. Don't be a purist. Like, if you're fading and you just don't have it that day, it's okay to break the fast early. You don't get bonus points for suffering. The reverse is also true. Like, if you're planning on doing a 16-hour fast, but you're feeling good, you're in the zone, and you're not hungry, then maybe you go 18, 20, or 24 hours that day because you feel amazing. If you're not hungry, don't eat. Just make sure to always listen to your body and be flexible. The next question then becomes, how are you actually supposed to eat if you want to lose weight? Because here's the thing, 80% of your body composition is determined by your diet. You can't just freestyle this part. Do you have a proven plan that you can follow? To help you with that, I want to give you a free copy of my Lean Body Blueprint. This is how I was finally able to get rid of all my unwanted body fat without depriving myself of my favorite foods or spending countless hours at the gym. It's a simple 4-step process specifically designed for busy professionals, and it's the exact same blueprint that I teach to all my students, and they've all gone to see some amazing results. If you want to be the next success story, then download your free copy of the Lean Body Blueprint right now. There's going to be a link somewhere at the top here or in the description box. Just click on it, type in your email, and I'll send it to you right away. Hey, give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it and share it with your friends. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I post a new video every week, and feel free to leave a comment below if you have any questions about this video. Alright, I'll see you in the next one. Virtual high five.